So driving the 1997, it's got a thumbs up there, Toyota Supra Turbo, proper 6-speed, 100% bone stock. The only thing I've actually switched out on this car is the steering wheel. For you Supra fans out there, I'm sure you know that prior to the 1998 year, which was the final year of the Mark IV Supras, all the steering wheels looked exactly like the steering wheels that came off of a Camry or a Corolla, really fat. Basically, it was like you're driving a minivan, except you're in your Supra. So I actually found a steering wheel off at 98 on eBay, and got that put on my car. Other than that, everything else is completely stock. Haven't messed with the engine, haven't added any, rims, or haven't touched the car. Basically want to keep it that way for a number of reasons. I've always been more of a fan of keeping cars stock. I think for the most part, when cars leave the factory, I mean, of course there are exceptions, but I think for the most part, at least for the cars that I enjoy, when the cars leave the assembly line at the manufacturer, I kind of think they know what's best in terms of, just how the car looks and what's under the hood and the power and that sort of deal. I kind of just like to leave things alone. And of course, in terms of financially, resale value wise, when things are bone stock, left unmolested, they're worth a lot more. That goes for the Supra, it goes for really, I think, a lot of the cars that I have. My NSX, my other JDMs. I think it really kind of goes for exotics as well. I think it would be, my McLaren 12C or my Gallardo or my Ford GT, if those were modified. You don't see those modified too often, but if those were modified or had crazy rims or crazy paint jobs or whatnot, I think it would hurt resale value. And again, I don't buy cars ever for resale value. I really don't care about that. But it's something you have to think about. Worst case scenario, emergency arises, if I have to get rid of my car. I think more people, more car aficionados are more willing to spend that amount of money on a stock car, because at least engine-wise, they know that you haven't kind of played with it, or specifically, even if you take it to a really reputable place and get horsepower added or turbos put on or whatever the case is, you're just never, unless you do the work yourself, you're never 100% sure of the quality of the workmanship. So I think that's kind of another reason why I like to leave my cars alone. S2K, same thing. My S2K is bone stock as well. So yeah, my car is bone stock. I plan on keeping it that way. But as the title of my video says, I honestly, this isn't clickbait at all. I honestly believe that not just my Supra, but I'll say my Supra, my 1997 bone stock Supra Turbo is absolutely overpriced and overrated, and I'll tell you guys why. So again, I'm not saying this to be boastful or whatever. I'm just saying it for comparison purposes. Someone who has other vehicles or other comparable vehicles, as to why I believe this car is overpriced and overrated. So take my 2003 NSX. That vehicle I bought for like $50,000, I think 8 or 9 years ago. And I think I have about 55,000 miles on that. It's bone stock, proper 6-speed. I think right now, if I sold it, I could easily get 100, 110. I think that's probably what the market is on it. Maybe a little bit higher. I don't check it that often, but I think probably 100, 110, low hundreds is what a NSX bone stock, good condition, 6-speed would get you. This car I bought about a year ago, and it was, I think, 195. Now I know that may be ridiculous, especially for you guys out there who are not super fans, but actually that is pretty much the market rate right now. And in fact, before I hopped in the car, I did a quick Auto Trader search, and the cheapest Supra, just 1997, just to make it easy, the cheapest 1997 Supra Turbo out there right now, listed on Auto Trader, is like 105,000. And the only reason that one's so cheap is it's the 4-speed automatic, which of course no one wants. If you get a Supra, you got to get the 6-speed. Every other Supra, and I'm talking, guys, cars that had like 80, 90, 100,000 miles are listed at $120 to $200,000. Yes, US dollars. So again, that's kind of what the market is for this car right now. And in fact, one of the reasons why I bought this car, I mean, in addition to I liked the car as a kid, I always liked the car. Ironically, it wasn't one of my favorites growing up. I really loved the NSX. The NSX is my favorite car of all time. I'll be buried in that car. But this was definitely one of the cars I liked growing up as well. But one of the reasons I bought this vehicle, and it actually might be a stupid reason, guys, don't follow my advice, is you know, I was reading, and I don't really follow it daily, but I was kind of looking at prices on Auto Trader over several months, years even, and it seemed to me that if I didn't get this Supra, it would basically be out of my price range pretty soon. Because even now, like I said, if I want to get this car again with this mileage, I have 39,000 miles, I'm easily paying over $200,000. That's not even a question. At least on Auto Trader or Cars.com, if that's any indication. And so I was like, you know what? I like the car. I want to bite the bullet. I want to buy it now before it reaches something beyond which I can't even afford. But again, stupid reason to buy a car, guys. But anyways, the prices on these things are insane. Like I said, compared to a 2003 NSX, which again, with my mileage on with 55,000 miles, you're probably looking at 110,000. Awesome car, blessed. And quite honestly, guys, I think, in my opinion, my 2003 NSX versus this 1997 Supra is both 6 speeds, both bone stock, both in great condition. I would take the NSX any day of the week, twice on Sundays. I think it's a more fun car to drive. The shifter is 10 times better. I like the looks of the NSX more. I think the NSX it's more unique. I mean, in terms of kind of it being, groundbreaking, making all the Italian manufacturers catch up and start caring about build quality and that sort of thing. Obviously, it's an extremely important vehicle. But on top of that, it's just a damn fun vehicle to drive. It's so easy to drive. It's like driving a Honda Civic, really. It's bulletproof. It's never going to cause you problems. I haven't had any issues with this car either. And Toyotas make good cars, obviously. But between this and the NSX, to me, it's a no-brainer. Yet this car easily could be twice, or is twice as costly or valuable as my NSX. And I have no reason. I have no idea why. I have a 97 3000 GT. I have a 96 300 CX. I have a 94 RX-7. All bone stock, very good condition. And again, the RX-7 is creeping up a little bit in value, but again, still can't hold a candle. Not even the same universe as the Supra. Why is that? Does the Supra have like 1,000 horsepower? Is it like the F1 McLaren where there's only like 14 made? Is it made of some sort of space age, titanium? No, it's not. It's a Japanese car that Toyota made in the 90s. And again, it's a great car. It's a fun car. It's a nice looking car. It's the hero car, right, of Fast and Furious. It's Doug DeMuro called the Supra more special than a Aventador or any McLaren that might pass you on the road. And I think for some reasons, that there might be some legitimacy to that, but I think a lot of that feeds into this kind of cult following for the Supra, and for some inexplicable reason, the values and prices of these cars have completely just shot through the roof. Again, why is this car worth $200,000? It's not, and I'm saying that as someone who owns the car, as someone who wants the values for this thing to shoot up so I can make a lot of money. I'm telling you guys, this car is not worth, it's not even, honestly guys, it ain't even worth $150,000. I'm just telling you straight up. I would even say it's not even worth $100,000. Not that it's a crappy car, it's a great car. But if a 3000 GT, an RX-7, or a 300 ZX, you can find those for easily sub 60, easily, right? Why are these Supras so damn expensive? I don't know. So in terms of pricing, that's why I honestly feel, compared to the cars I own, compared to other cars, compared to other cars that offer you more performance, better looks, better reliability, whatever the case is, insert blank here. This car is just overpriced. And again, people say, oh, again, it's the hero car, it's a JDM Legend, all those things are true, but I guess if you're saying all those things kind of factor into this okay shifter. Shifter feel, I think it's okay. I think this pales in comparison to my NSX, pales in comparison to my RA, pales in comparison to my 4GT. I think it's about mid-range, middle of the pack in terms of the shifter. And again, if you're driving a 6-speed, save the manuals. How the shifter feels, is it notchy, is it precise, is there a lot of vagueness? That matters. And I think, the way the car feels, the way it drives, just the overall driving mechanics. I mean, it's a good driving car. Is it great? No. Is it something where when I get out of the car, like, oh my God, this is such a blast to drive, and it's so, you feel like one with the car, and it's so, no, none of that. Absolutely none of that. So in that regard, I think it's kind of overrated. When I just got the car, it's funny, when I got the car and I was driving, the first couple of minutes, I was like, wow, this is amazing. I have a Supra. It's everything people tell you it is. And then literally, as I parked the car about 20 minutes later, I was like, okay, that's all right. I mean, honestly, if you took off the Supra badging and threw a bag over the car, I know it sounds ridiculous, but you only kind of felt how the car drives, for sure, you would be like, yeah, this is a $100,000, $200,000 car. Not even close, guys. Not even close. So again, and I think, don't get me wrong, I get the cult following, the movie roles, the celebrities, Paul Walker. There's a lot of people who love this car, and I think it really boosts the love and the adulation that this car gets. And a lot of it is well deserved. But I think a lot of it is not, which leads to these inflated, bloated prices. And I just think this car is, again, just way overpriced, guys, and overrated to a certain extent as well. Again, as I say that, as I don't know if you caught at the very beginning of the video, guys, some guy was giving me a thumbs up. I get honks. I get people who come up to me and make me cash offers, almost as much actually as my NSX. I mean, those are the two cars that I always get this kind of, hey, I got cash. How much do you want for it? Are you selling it? And I get it. People really, 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 really love these cars. But I wonder, like, if they actually owned it, if they actually drove it, on a semi-daily, regular basis, if they would love it as much. I only drive this car maybe once every couple of weeks, once a month. And again, I like the car. I'm not going to sell it anytime soon, but, it's a great investment. You're going to make money on these Supras. They're not going to drop in value. It's kind of like the 1M I was talking about the other day. These cars are not going to drop in value. If anything, they're just going to keep on going up through the roof. But, yeah, I mean, I know I sound like a hypocrite saying this, but, like, I'm not pulling up the ladder behind me, guys, but I honestly, for whatever it's worth, I really think this car is overpriced and slightly overrated as well. You get more bang for your buck on an NSX. If you're crazy about JDMs or 90s JDMs, there's other, like I listed them already. You can get 90% of the thrill and the excitement and satisfaction driving those and save $100,000. But those are just my thoughts, guys, on the Supra. I'll do kind of, I guess, another in-depth review at a later point, but just want to give you my thoughts on the car. Let me know what you guys think. And let's see, where am I? Completely lost right now. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Give the video a thumbs up, like and subscribe, support the channel. Hope you guys like it, and I'll see you next time. Just an interior shot of the Supra, guys. The, of course, well-known, famous fighter jet layout cockpit thingy, where all the buttons and switches are, of course, geared towards the driver. I actually swapped out my steering wheel for a 97. I'm sorry, actually a 98. All the steering wheels on the Supras prior to the 98 year, it basically had the same steering wheel as a Corolla or a Camry, which looks kind of weird. So this is actually off of a 1998 Supra. But interior is in good condition. Of course, you have to go with the 6-speed. The completely useless back seats where you actually can't actually fit any human beings or kids with legs, so it's completely useless. But you know, it's good for a duffel bag or. But yeah, you can tell no one's ever sat back there in the history of ever. But yeah, I really like the layout to the Supra. It's definitely one of my favorite aspects of the car. These little air vents, and yeah, it's a good looking interior for its age and for what it is.